I didn't see you there. I'm just kidding. I did. I hit the record button. So, little shameless plug-in for my dear friend, Cherise Williams, who actually wrote this book, The Goddess Life. I think, and before we take a step further, I am doing a reading. Relax. But before we kind of go into all that, before we talk about retrograde, cue in the dramatic music, dun dun dun, goddess energy is something that the term, let's just look at the term goddess. It's one of those things I feel in the spiritual community, let's be real, we're allowed to have opinions, that you either love, you connect to it immediately, or you're like, meh. And it's not that you don't like the term goddess. It's not that you don't like what goddess inspires or invokes in a person or in yourself. But for a lot of us that don't connect all the time to the divine feminine or the sacred feminine, basically it can be harder. It can be harder for us. And so I was apprehensive about a book titled The Goddess Life. I mean, am I living the goddess life? I don't know what kind of life I'm living. I feel like I'm working like the mom life, I almost said alcoholic life. The workaholic, not alcoholic. I'm sure that's what they all say, but the workaholic life. But it's something that we should connect more to. The things that we run away from are oftentimes the things we need the most. And so I found myself in a way running from the term goddess and even feminine, to be honest, from time to time. And so I just want to share with you briefly page 104 from Cherise Williams' book, because this isn't really, I'll be honest, it's not a book you can just sit down and read straight through. I think it's a day-to-day book. It's a book that inspires you. It's a book that calls in response, if you will. You get inspired action from this book. And that's something that not all books in the world do. A lot of books will invoke a sense of something, emotion, or be it action in your life, especially in the self-help section, right? But this book, it reminds me in a good way of one of my kind of all-time favorite books, which is Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. Now, I got my feelings about that these days, but that's for another video. So in this book, though, The Goddess Life, page 104, I'm going to take you there. Don't worry. I'm going to take you there. I'll take you there. If I had rights to music, that song would be playing. But it says here, we are spiritual beings, but we are also human beings. Somewhere along the lines in certain areas of the spiritual community, our humanness became something to be frowned upon. Love, light, and ascension were something to be honored, and the shadow, raw emotion, and human feelings became something to shun. This is not a healthy way to live. We are most certainly spiritual beings, striving towards a deeper spiritual connection, but we are also humans. With human bodies and human emotions, it's a bit ridiculous, in my opinion, to try and ignore our very human essence. Should we try to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be? Of course. Should we continue to deepen our spiritual connection and soul growth? Definitely. But we can't ignore our very real human emotions and needs. We have these feelings and needs for a reason. There's no reason to beat ourselves up for having them. It's what we do with our feelings that matter. Work through your feelings, feel them, honor them, the light and the shadows. At the bottom, she wrote an affirmation. It says, I honor and embrace my human nature. Here's a little layout of the book here. So I read on this side over here, and then she actually has some journal prompts, which isn't, she doesn't have them like every single chapter or page, whatnot, but they are kind of intermittently throughout the book, which I appreciate. Little tarot fun fact for you. Instead of, if you're like a non-journaler like me, like I despise journaling, I write everything down, but I don't like to journal. Use these as a tarot spread. So right now, grab a deck of the cards. It doesn't have to be tarot. It could be angel cards or anything else. Grab a deck, shuffle it up. You can pause this and answer the questions as you go through. But from page 105, just to give you a little bit more, pull a card and ask the card this question. What bad habits do I feel that I have? How are these habits holding me back in life? What would it look and feel like to conquer those bad habits? And lastly, what am I willing to do to commit to removing these bad habits? Pull some cards and try. You can buy this book over on Amazon. You can also go and follow Sharice Williams here on Instagram. If you go to my Instagram feed, you actually will see this book, and I'm actually doing some free readings for right now. I don't know when you're watching this, so they may not be going on anymore, but as of right now, today, this moment, I am still doing some goddess-inspired readings based on this inspirational book. So check it out, guys. It's a big deal. It's a, you know, let's stop with that for just a second. Life is a big deal. You are a big deal. I don't care who you actually are, but you're a big deal. Not that I don't care literally who you actually are, but I mean, in the fact of stop comparing yourself. You know, if you're sitting here like, yeah, but I'm not a mom. I haven't raised children. I haven't started a business. I work at a coffee shop. You know, I'm still struggling with my student debt. I'm in and out of my relationships, or I got this weird thing with my ex and I don't even know what that is, and I don't even know how to define that. And how am I great? How do I have greatness in me? Well, your makeup, and not like makeup, I mean like your makeup, your body is great. You're great. You're fantastic, actually. And you're the only one. So I don't care what you personally do, but I do care it's the makeup of who you are. And I care how you care for that makeup of who you are. So this is the deal, right? This is a Mercury retrograde. This is a rough retrograde. I don't know, raise your hands if it's been a rough one. I kind of talked about this the other day, actually, in fact, on my Instagram account, on a live, and I was joking around how, well, I wasn't really joking. I was in full seriousness. This is a rough retrograde. This retrograde and the last one were tough, and this one I think more so for me than the other. And I am totally not about blaming retrograde. I mean, as humans, we naturally need to point fingers at something, but remember what your mama said: when you point a finger at someone, you got 3 pointing right back at you. So if you want to point the finger at Mercury retrograde, you're gonna get 3 back at you. Even though retrograde don't have fingers, you're still gonna get 3 pointed right back at you. So there's things that have to change, right? There's things that have to be acknowledged. Big word. Acknowledged. You have some acknowledgement to do here. You know, it's different than reflection. We hear that a lot, right? In the spiritual community. Go on, like, have a hiatus. Go on a pilgrimage. Be the hermit. Watch us pull the hermit today. That'd be hilarious. Thanks, Spirit. But no, seriously, though. It is that, but it's more than that. Like, spiritual hiatus, taking that soul time, taking that soul self, it's kind of like a vacation. Everyone's like, no, it's not. Like, I have been there. I have been in the self-discovery, the self-reflection. It is not fun, Devin. It is not a vacation. It is not toes in the sand drinking a margarita. I understand. It's the acknowledgement that's not fun. It's that moment when you finally do shine the light on what it is you're supposed to be working on, what you're supposed to be understanding, what you're supposed to be connecting to. So it's not really the path that gets you there, the reflection. That's the vacation. It's the realization that you have to go back to your 9-to-5 job because it's Monday. The acknowledgement. Okay? And so those that are not having a rough retrograde, this session's still for you. I hope that you don't turn this off. I hope that you still watch this because it's good. It's good info. Plus, be inspired and take this on your journey to someone else. Like, go for it, right? You're here. I'm not going to connect with all the people that you connect to, but you're going to connect to all the people you connect to, and you need to share it with them. Sharing is caring. All right, so what we're going to do is a tarot spread. I'm not typically a spread reader, but when it comes to doing these kinds of readings, when I do like more, not really when I do public, because I really don't do, you get the point. I don't always use spreads, but in this case, I'm going to. So this is from Escaping Stars. You can follow her on Instagram, Escaping Stars, all one word together. It'll be down below. And then her website is escapingstars.com. And so I will also, can you see that? Can you see that? Okay, there you go. That's what we're using. This is what we're doing. Oh my God, the screen's so bright. So this is what we're doing. The Mercury Retrograde Tarot spread. It is a 6-card spread, 6-card reading. We're going to do it together. I'm going to walk you through it. It's going to be all right. We're going to get some guidance. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to talk to Spirit. And then we're also going to, we'll be pulling those from my Tarot-Fauna, my new Tarot-Fauna deck, or my new deck in general. So if you were interested, www.lovelightandlegacy.com. Get yours today. You don't have to, but I hope you do. We're also, however, going to pull cards for you all. And so, I mean, we're already pulling cards for you all, but what we're going to do is pull cards. I think what I want to do, I'm going to break it down now. We are going to break it down to the elements. So we are going to pull specifically a card from the Diviner Life Oracle, which is definitions. It's all definitions. I love it, of words. Duh. And so we're going to break it down for water signs, fire signs, earth signs, and air signs. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Let's not futz around anymore. Take a nice big deep breath in. Good. Exhale back out. Of course, you know, I understand how many times I actually have to tell people to breathe out. Like, that's actually a thing now, which I love you. If you're listening and you're like, I'm that person, Dev. I'm that person that did not breathe out until you told me to. I love you. I do. You follow instruction very well. So there you go. All right. So with that being said, what will this happening now? What will this retrograde bring into my life? All right. I'll give it a shuffle real quick because I did not shuffle before we jumped on. Shuffle, 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 whoop, shuffle, whoop, shuffle, shuffle, snap, shuffle. And, oh, this feels good. All right, you know it's good to stop shuffling when it feels good. Okay, so what is this retrograde bringing to my life, into my life, your life, my life, our life, together? We're doing this together. The Five of Feathers. And then you pull a Swords card. Okay, so what is this retrograde bringing into my life, your life, our life, connected life? So in my deck, the Suit of Feathers is actually the Suit of Swords. Not the nicest of cards that we wanted to see. Not gonna lie. We're like, I'm okay with cups. In fact, you know, just bring me all the pinnacles. I want all the pinnacles, all the abundance, all the time. But retrograde, I love this. Like, retrograde's kicking our butts, even in the reading. But retrograde has other plans. Spirit's like, nope, we're going to be real today. So the Five of Feathers, a.k.a. the Five of Swords, a.k.a. a card of self-destruction. No big deal. What are you bringing into your life? Self-destruction. It's not. It's okay. Grab some coffee and some tea. It's going to take a minute. When we talk about the Suit of Swords, we're talking about the element of air, which is not all bad. It does come from a headspace, so we're talking about getting this up here, the headspace, right. That could take a while. And when we're talking about the element of 5, we're talking about the number that does cause change, which for some of us, because we don't like change, can cause chaos or conflict. Not the C's you want. I would rather go with cookies. Or, I was going to say cream, but that wouldn't make sense because, like, ice cream, but you get the point. It was a bad joke. Anywho, so what's going on here? What retrograde is bringing into your life is the utter deterioration of everything that you know in order to rebuild you back up. It sounds so bad. It sounds so bad. Why, retrograde? Why? Okay, so let's look at this on a deeper level. So the owl, obviously, there's not having the best of days. This owl is not having the best of days. And this owl chose to hang out on the ground. When have you ever seen an owl hang out on the ground? This is not what they do. But he's hanging out on the ground. And you know what? He's not looking too good. And back here, I know it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but there's actually like a wolf or a coyote or a fox, something not good, that is locked in on our sweet owl friend. Basically, this is you. This is Mercury retrograde. Look, retrograde's ready to pounce at any given time. No, but it's true. So what retrograde's trying to bring into your life is a sense of readiness. Okay? It's a sense of readiness. Retrograde wants to bring you the ability to not let the bad things look, feel, and seem so bad. Look, feel, and seem so bad. Mercury retrograde is trying to give you the option D, okay? Multiple choice answer. Option D, to be able to understand on a greater level that these things are not happening to you, but for you. And so when the cosmos has to get up your you-know-what to get you aligned, you know you got some stuff to do. Basically, what I'm saying is if you're being messed up by this retrograde, you've got some important things to do. Now, those of you that are not being affected by this retrograde, that does not mean that you are not important. I did not say that. We all go through retrogrades in different times. We all go through phases just in life at different times. And so for those of you that are not being affected to a magnitude by this retrograde, you're the supporter. You're the tree. Over here. This is the tree. You're the tree. You are meant to assist, guide, aid, love, care for, and support those that are having a rough time. And that could be loved ones, that could literally like blood related, that could be your social media family, that could be people that have no idea what retrograde is. And then you open up and talk about it. Like, I do this all the time, and most of the time it freaks out my grocery, like the cashiers at the grocery store, but I do it anyways, because, why not? But anyways, it's not on you to force, because remember, retrograde can affect communications. It's not on you to force opinion or insight or anything on anyone, but it is on you to feel connected with those around you, specifically those that are going through a rough time with retrograde. Now, for those of you that you feel like the owl, you are like, yes, I am the owl. I get you. I get you. And so what retrograde is trying to do, and we've talked about it briefly already, but the bottom line message is, it's not trying to kill you. I repeat, retrograde is not trying to kill you. Retrograde is not trying to break you down past the point of no return. Retrograde is trying to go into the details and make you better. Retrograde's kind of like the read between the lines, okay? Ultimately, the things that are not serving us the best way, and I know that's a trendy thing to say. I don't like to say trendy things, but this trendy thing is actually appropriate for this matter. When the things that no longer serve you aren't serving you, and in fact could be inducing more stress, strain, cause, or care, retrograde takes it upon itself, like anything else in the universe and spirit, to change that. So for example, like I have issues with MailChimp. Absolutely despise MailChimp with a passion of a burning gazillion thousands of suns. Basically, that's me trying to say that I hate it, but without using that term. Anywho, 1,000 burning suns. Dislike. Now, I have not found an alternative. I can't speak. I have not found an alternative to MailChimp that I like. And please, you don't have to DM me. You don't have to send me. I mean, you can if you really want to. I'm not saying that you can never talk to me, but you can if you want to, but you don't need to. I'm looking into other options. But there's like constant contact and other things too. But I am trying to get better with talking, because it's not even about like sending out a monthly newsletter. It's more so like I got important stuff to say to my peeps. And you're probably one of them watching. So that is something that I'm working on. This retrograde is helping me, as much as I really don't like technology and things like systems. This retrograde's helping me to see that, and it's helping me to see that this in fact is a problem, and that even if I don't have 5,000 people on my email list, but even if one person out of my 5,000 email list did not get their email because MailChimp decided like to just not show up one day, that's a problem, because every person matters. So hopefully you understand that example. And the bottom line is, this won't kill you. You are not as damaged or broken or messed up or stupid or anything that's a negative influence. You are not as much of that as you feel you are. Okay? So stop it. Don't be stupid. Don't be crazy. Don't be dumb. Don't be silly. Don't be like, just don't be that person. You don't have to be. By you telling yourself that you're dumb, by you telling yourself that you're stupid, by you telling yourself that you're not good enough, you're not capable enough, you don't have enough to it. I don't know what that was. Then you're not going to be able to fix these problems. You're not going to be able to survive retrograde or just life in general the way that you want. Understand? You still have enough get up and go to get up and be gone. All right. That takes us over to our second card. What aspect of my life will be most affected by this retrograde period? Now remember, I believe retrograde ends April 15th. It's March 30th right now. We're going back in time with this retrograde. That's how bad it is. Anyways, no, April 15th. So with that being said, what aspect of my life will be most affected by this retrograde period? The Four of Rocks. The Four of the Rocks. Okay, so Four of Rocks is, in a traditional tarot deck, is the Four of Pentacles, okay? So we're talking about the element of Earth. We see this sweet mama bear. She is yelling. She's ferocious. She's fierce. And she's protecting her two cubs. We don't know from what or who, but it does show this aspect of kind of like standing up, being in that strength and activation. But you know what? Control. Typically a card in a traditional sense that connects to either too much control being given to someone else, or you taking on, you're the actual individual in question, you are taking on too much of the helm, if you will. You need to let go a little bit. You're reacting before you're thinking kind of deal. And so the area of your life that this retrograde is affecting the most is kind of your sensibility. You need to get sensible. Probably didn't use that in the proper grammatic sense, but I like my Devonisms, so thanks for being here. But it's true. So what's being affected the most is your, I would say, inability to take in that breath and just be calm. Calm, that word is so scary, right? Calm over control. That's your motto until the 15th. Calm over control. Okay? So no, it's true, right? When we, reaction is a beautiful thing. We can have beautiful reactions. It's the mom crying when she hears her child who was just born cry for the first time. The man or woman, whoever, that proposes to the other, and then they cry because their significant other said yes to being married. I was going to say to be wed. Sounds so like Anyways, but you get the point. There's human reaction is a thing. Maybe it's watching your child graduate, walk off the high school stage with the graduation cap, or maybe it's the passing of a loved one, be it pet or family member. I mean, we have reactions because we're human and we're supposed to, and these reactions can be a beautiful thing. They are it brings tangible energy to life. However, reactions can also be, of course, negative. Where there's positive, there's negative, right? Where there's light will then cast a shadow. It's the duality of accountability and responsibility in life. And so if we don't have all of our reactions in line, like when we talk about alignment, we're like, are my chakras aligned? Which is great. Like, you can have aligned chakras. Like, enjoy your aligned chakras. But are you aligned with your reactions? Are you reacting appropriately to the circumstances? Because look, we're all hotheads. Like, come on now. We all get a little impatient at times. What is being most affected by this retrograde is your ability to react. Now, for some of you guys, you're like, I don't know. I feel kind of numb, Devin. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. That's a reaction. You're the possum playing dead. You're the turtle hiding in its shell, or the hermit crab going up in its shell. You're the owl sticking its head back in the hole. You're the rabbit running down the burrow. Guys, reaction is not just always a show of force or this huge thing of attention, yelling, shouting, crying, getting upset, feeling hurt. Reaction can be the opposite. It can be the hermit mode, the pullback, the I feel stuck, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? We have to know. We have to know what we are reacting to in order to react to it well. I want you to hear that because I just got emotional. We have to know what we are reacting to in order to react to it well. Have you ever flown off the handle for no reason? Have you? I've done it. I have made an asshole of myself in life. A few of you would probably try to disagree with that. You're like, God damn it, no, you're not an asshole. No, guys, I'm a jerk sometimes, okay? Because I'm not even going to blame it on my Aries, because I totally am. But it's just me. Like, my makeup sometimes, my soul self is sometimes impatient. And that doesn't always make me the best lover to my husband. It doesn't make me always the best ex-wife to my ex-husband. It does not make me always the best mother to my children. It does not always make me the best human to society. We have to understand all of the levels. There are so many levels. That's why we have judges in court systems, like legit judges, right? Because they have to remain unbiased. They have to know not only your side of the case, but their side of the case. They have to figure out the middle of the case, because where you're speaking truth and they're speaking truth, there's also truth in between. I mean, you can be so right about something, but be so wrong. You could do things for all the right reasons, but it can still be wrong. Do you see what I'm getting at here? You have to understand what you're reacting to in a 360 kind of way, in order for you to, I would say, I guess, react appropriately to it. 4 of rocks. You get it? Raise your hand. Whoop. Okay. That takes us over to, how can I minimize the damage and negative results of retrograde? How can I minimize the damage and negative results of retrograde? The 8 of rocks. I love it. The 8 of rocks. So the 8 of rocks here in my deck, again, we're talking about the suit of pentacles, element of earth, tangible things in our life, home, family, income, the car you drive, any material possession, all of those things, okay? Also, it's the substantial, the tangible support that you have, either be a support system, a community, a social media platform, a family member, a friend, whatever it might be, a therapist, anything. The 8 of rocks, 8 of pentacles, is often shown as the crafter, someone building or making something. And typically they're being shown as almost being complete with the work that they're doing. And so in this case, we see Papa Bear. He is rolling the rock to make this a little bit more of a fortified cave for the family, Mama Bear and 2 cubs that are coming home, which we saw earlier in the 4 of rocks. Now, bear energy reminds you to have courage. This is something bear medicine, bear totems, bear spirit animals, bear spirit guides, whatever you want to connect to, whatever feels good to connect to. But the symbolism of the bear is this courageous energy. Being courageous even when perhaps you could be wrong. We can fight for things without them causing mass suffering. We can fight for things and still be respectful, okay? And so the courage here is that you ultimately, in order to push yourself through, again, how could I minimize the damage and negative results of retrograde? You can work on not only what feels right to work on, but the tangible things in your life that need work. Now, I have heard, I can't tell you how many times, don't sign anything. Don't go into contracts with people. Don't make big life changes during retrograde. Well, I'm sorry, but life still goes on. I gotta leave the house for groceries. I gotta take my kids to school. I have to continue to do my business because you know what? Just because it's retrograde doesn't mean that when the first of the month comes around that my rent ain't due. Guys, we can't run, excuse me, we can't run and hide from retrograde. We still have life to live during retrograde. And though, yes, I think it is at times appropriate to avoid these things because there could be communicational breakdowns and issues, we're also a race, we're a being a human being, whatever, we're us, humans, that is capable of compassion and consideration. And if you don't have compassion or consideration during retrograde, then you're doing something wrong. Okay? So the bottom line here, how can you avoid this negativity? Ooh. Keep working on yourself. And it's not just yourself, because remember, we're talking about sorry guys, I'm getting over being sick. It's not just about working on like soul self, but it's also about working on life. Look, we're pretty much all unmotivated right now. Like, I have a mountain of laundry to do. I have a ton of orders to pack. And it's not that I don't want to provide the service to my clients. I do. It's not that I don't want to hang my laundry up, because you know what? Even though my laundry's clean and it's like piled up on the floor, like, it feels better. You feel more like an accomplished individual when your clothes are put away. Just one of those things. And so it's not so much about the circumstances surrounding why you're doing things. It is more so how you go about doing the things, all of the things during this retrograde. You can omit the negativity by simply letting yourself continue to do the work. It comes down to not stopping your life because retrograde is occurring. It comes down to believing that, oh yeah, when there's negative, there automatically has to be positive. What did I say earlier about the light and the shadow? Guys, you can't have a shadow if there's not light to cast the shadow. Try it. I want you to, next time when it gets dark tonight, I want you to stand in a room that has no windows, no ability to really see, so like a closet or something, and I want you to turn the lights off and try to see a shadow. And don't tell me, oh, Devin, you're standing in the whole shadow. No, that's the darkness. The power's out. But then turn the light on, take a little gander behind you, and you're going to see the shadow, because the shadow, the negative, the doubt, the things that need to be worked on cannot exist without coexisting with the light, with the love, with the accomplishments, with the successes, with the things you want to do, with the wishful thinking, with all of this stuff. So let the negative hang out. It's going to show you where to put these rocks. It's going to show you where you need to put a bucket in case the roof starts leaking, so that way your whole house don't flood. Let it occur, because the negativity is going to point you in the right direction to the positivity that you're supposed to be proactively a part of. Got it? Cool. Moving forward. All right. So that takes us over to card number 4. What lessons need to be learned during this period? The Ace of Torches. The Ace of Torches. Do you know what I love about this? Do you know what I freaking love about this? What did I just say? What did I just say about going in the closet, turning off all the lights? Look at the darkness. Look at it. The fox is making his own light because maybe he didn't pay his electricity. Look, guys. Sometimes I surprise myself with the things I say. Look, okay, so the lessons to be learned here. The Ace of Torches, the mark of the beginning, connection to the element of fire, non-tangible things. We're talking about hopes and dreams, ambitions, miracles, more. The what and the want that you wish to bring into your life. I don't think I could repeat that if I wanted to. Woo! Rewind if you need to. But the whole connection here, and foxes, very symbolic of making decisions, being smart in the mind of like playing out all of the options, looking at the multiple choice and choosing the best options. They're good at that. They're very intelligent. You have to realize, I love this connection, and I love that this happened, and spirit exists. I mean, you can't say that spirit doesn't exist after receiving that card, after the metaphor that I gave about the closet. Look, guys, you don't have to always rely on the bigness. And I'm not talking bigness like God, spirit, universe, goddesses, deities, religion, spirituality, whatever it might be. I'm talking about like human nature, like government, like the electric company, like the big man upstairs, not that big man, but the big man that like controls all the spending. If you are in a closet and the light doesn't turn on, you go to turn it on and it doesn't work. I mean, some of us would freak out, right? Because, I mean, I don't like to be, just like I don't like to be in the ocean. There's too many things that could eat me. I don't like to be out at night because, again, I'm tiny. Too many things that could like just swoop down and eat me. Yes, I have a fear of being eaten, apparently. But anyways, the point is that sometimes it's not always that you didn't pay your electric bill. Sometimes that it's not always that your circuit breaker doesn't work and that maybe it's just your, upstairs that's out of power. Sometimes it's just that the bulb blew out. Well, that doesn't bother our fox friend because he created his own fire and he carries that fire with him. I know it's a long stretch. I understand. I get it. It's a little corny. But everything you need is inside of you. Sometimes you just got to regurgitate it back up. That's going to make you remember this. Regurgitate. It's a fun word to say. Kind of gross to think about. But it's going to regurgitate back up out of you. And you're going to be you're going to be capable of maintaining a light. Your light. The best light. Light that can't be paid for. Light that realistically can never be taken away. The absolute biggest thing, the lesson here, you are never in as stuck of a place as you feel. Because that's the thing about the darkness, right? That's the thing about the shadow self. That's the thing about negativity is once it gets you there, it's like, yes, my precious. Sorry for any of my, movie buzz out there. But once it gets you there, it does. It keeps a control of you because we fear the darkness naturally. It's kind of a human thing. It's why we've evolved. It's why we don't live in like just pretty much out under the stars or in little tents or huts. And again, no offense out there. But it's why we want a home. It's why we want a wall around us. We want a roof over our head because we know what the world is capable of. And even though we don't really have predators to us, we still want to feel safe and secure. So when we fall into darkness, define that however you want. It is easier to stay there. It is. It's easier to stay in the darkness. And some of us get accustomed to it, right? Because the struggle, we can be addicted to struggle just like we can be addicted to anything else. The biggest lesson here, you not only control how you feel, you not only control how you react or act in a situation, but you are the only one that can turn that light back on. The game is yours to be played, my friend. All right, so that takes us over to card number 5. What part of my past do I need to reflect on in order to heal and aid my journey? The Wild card. All right, so if you are not a Tarot Fauna fan, I forgive you. It's okay. No, but Tarot Fauna is, again, a deck that I made with artist Brittany Burkhardt of BrittanyBurkhardt.com. She's amazing. F to the Y-I. If I could marry a woman, I would. I would marry her. I mean, you can, but I mean, I'm already married to my husband, and she's married, she's got kids, I got kids. It's a complicated thing, but I do love her. Undying love for her. Anyways, so we created a 78-card tarot deck, and then towards the end of the creation of this deck, I was like, I want to do something different, because I'm a little bit of a rebel. And I was like, Brittany, I want you to make a card, and I want to make a card. So my 78-card deck became an 80-card deck. And so we didn't stop at the world. We went to the next card, which is this card. And then there's another card. So maybe it'll pop up, maybe it won't. But either way, this is not a traditional tarot card. And it's called the Wild, which I love because it's the wild card. Get it? Ha, pun intended. Anyways, so the Wild reminds you, oh my God, this is so juicy. Do you see what's happening here? Do you? We're talking about our past. Again, the question was, what part of my past do I need to reflect on in order to heal and aid in my journey? And you're like, what does wild horses and the wild have to do with my past? Because you are free. Free. Look, you're free of your past. Because guess what? Your past already happened. No lie, it did. Just saying. Even if it was just like 5 minutes ago, that already happened. I can't take back what I said 5 minutes ago. Like the whole thing about Brittany and getting married. Like, I'm not going to regret it. I said it. I stand by it. She's awesome. But I can't undo that. Now, granted, I could just not post this video, but then all this amazing, juicy, spiritual goodness you guys wouldn't get. So I'm going to put myself out there. I love you, Brittany. Anyways, so the idea here is that you don't really have to heal from your past. And I know a lot of people are like, whoa, Devin, you crossed a line. We all got soul healing to heal. And I get you, I do. But you know what? Not during retrograde. You got enough stuff going on during retrograde. Let's not add to the list, okay? The laundry list is too big, okay? So you're fine. I'm shaking you right now. You're fine. You're fine. You're perfect the way you are. It's okay. You're free. Like, go run around. Jump. For joy. Do a handstand. I can't cartwheel, but I'm going to try anyways. This card is all about that sensation of liberation. Oh, that rhymed. That was good. That sensation of liberation. Yeah. Anyways, but it's about that. It's also about being independent while also having this background support, having a tribe, having a community. Shameless plug-in. If you've not joined the tribe, you need to. thetribelife.com. I'm going to do you one better. You want to get in for free? Not always. You should be always a tribe member. Want to be a tribe member for free? Reach out to me. Gosh, I'm doing all these rhymes. I should start rapping. Wicca, wicca. I will give you the password, and then you can check it out for yourself. And then if you want to join, you can. No pressure if you don't want to. It's cool. All right. So anyways, this aspect is this reminder, and I've been saying this a lot this week because I really love it, and there's a lot of depth to it. Look, your future self cannot do anything without your present self, okay? And your present self relied heavily on your past self. So even all the mistakes that you made, even all the hurt that you went through, even all the challenges, the tribulations, all of that stuff, it created your present self. So realistically, there's nothing that you really need to heal at this moment, at least during retrograde, because you've already done the hard stuff. Now, you might still hold traumas, and there's so many different things. So I'm not trying to box anybody in or put everybody into one box of feeling and emotion. And you know who you are if this doesn't necessarily apply to you fully. And I'm not saying that what happened to you in the past isn't important. Oh, I just need to forget about it, get over it. No, we're not doing that. Don't let the negativity in. That's negative self-talk. Take it all out. What I'm saying is, you went through the hardest stuff already. You went through some of the hardest days already. You went through some of the worst physical pain already. You're already on this path of healing. And even just for today, be liberated by the fact that you can let it go, even just for 12 hours, 24 hours. Heck, 8 hours. Give yourself 8 hours. Your present self is supporting your future self. And your future self is more free of this than you know. I can't tell you how many heartbreaks I had. I'll use myself as a shameless example. In school, in high school and stuff, I was always that girl that needed a girlfriend, needed a boyfriend. I'm hooked on Brittany again. Call me. Anyways, I'm just kidding. Anyways, but I always needed a boyfriend. Now, that didn't mean that which doesn't matter if you had tons of boyfriends in high school anyways, but I always had long-term boyfriend relationships in school. And so as my little 16-year-old heart felt, I was devastated when breakups would happen, because kids are immature. We're immature. I was immature. And but you know what? My future self, my now self, thanks me because I'm a much better wife and lover and mom even to my husband. And so there's things that happen, and I use the connection of like high school sweethearts because we feel like we know everything at that time in our life, but we know nothing. We know nothing. And I definitely was not spiritual when I was in my teens, meaning I didn't connect to, I avoided my psychic abilities, all this other stuff. So anywho, the point that I'm trying to bring you to is that what you do right now, you and I, matters 5 minutes from now. The thought processes, the yes connections, the confidence that you feel, it all matters right now. And it's going to matter more 10 minutes from now, 30 minutes from now. Life is a really funny thing. And throughout it, we are allowed to write and rewrite the scripts of it. And so for some things that we can't control, that, we go back to that 4 of Pentacles cards, the 4 of Rocks, it's difficult. It creates reaction. Sometimes we make even mistakes. You, however, are as good as you feel and say you are. And so even if you want to put on this like superhero mask of heal, I'm healed today, I may not be healed tomorrow. I might still be stuck in my disorder, my disability, my trauma, my assault, my negative connection to myself or my family, or the job loss that I experienced last year, or the death of somebody in my family that happened a year ago, 10 years ago. Today, we put on the superhero mask of heal. Go ahead and do it with me. You know you want to. We want to take our mask and we're going to put it on our face. And today, just for today, it's not that all that stuff doesn't matter, but it's today that we are going to let the mask, the superhero mask of healing, sit on our face, and we are going to feel comfortable. You all thought I was going to say confident. Comfortable. We're just going to be here. The wild card reminds you to be present. And in order to be present, you must feel free. So, work on that second identity. Put on the superhero mask. I don't care if you go run into your closet right now and pretend it's a phone booth, and then you run out with a cape on even, and you skivvies. If you need to, you do it. You got this. All right. And our final card before we move over to Oracle card pulls for the breakdown of the elements is, what will the outcome be of this period? Will it be generally positive and learning experience, or will it be full of misunderstandings and damage? That is a loaded question. I'm not sure I like that question. No offense, Sammy, because I love Sam, the gal that did this. But why should we even put it into that context? Now we're going to pull a card. I picked up the wrong deck. We're going to pull the card and we're going to see what happens. But honestly, you have to put it into the concept that you want it to be. This can be a bad time if you want it to be a bad time, but this can be the best time if you want it to be the best time. My thoughts exactly. The King of Feathers. The King of Feathers. Now, the King of Feathers connects to the King of Swords, which I also love because if you remember, we pulled this guy, we pulled Feathers at the very beginning. My, the transformation. The King of Feathers is your superhero facade, if you will, that tells you if it's right up here, it will be well with your soul. If it's mentally right up here, if you are right, feeling right, connected, thinking right, it will be well with your soul. The King of Feathers, he stands in defense of his little owlet. Isn't he super cute? Look how cute that is. Let's just all take a moment to see how cute that is. He stands, we could tell by his posture, he's defensive, but he is not reacting like our mama bear did. She could be yelling at a rabbit, which is kind of silly because she's a bear. We don't know what she's yelling at. Remember we talked about control, how we react to things. Now, he is not underreacting. He's prepared. He's standing. You're standing. You're ready. Retrograde is going to make you ready for life again. It's like a slingshot effect, right? The slingshot cannot be launched unless you pull back on that elastic band. This is what's happening. We're being pulled back tight, and there's tension and there's pressure, and we've got to use our muscles in order to actually do this. Isn't easy. Life isn't easy. It's not meant to be easy. Whoever told you that lied to you. It's meant to be a challenge. It's why your soul contract said, I'm going to show up in this body. I'm going to show up to this life. So we're being pulled. We're being pressured. We're putting on tension. Because what we're about to be launched at is going to be the greatest thing of our life. Guys, people get it all the time wrong. Life purpose, it is a beautiful thing. But you know what? We have purposes. We do. It's always more than one. Why would we come to just do one thing in life? That would be boring. Like, we should all just die by 20 then. We live, and it doesn't mean that you can't. There are people, sadly, that pass, but even before 20, but they have a purpose before then. But my point is that we have multiple purposes. We have multiple times that we show up in our life. We have multiple capabilities. We have a variety of focuses. The King of Feathers, the King of Swords, says, look, defend what's yours. Stand up and recognize who you are. Keep behind you what you're trying to shield. That little owlet could literally be your own children. It could be your mental attitude. It could be your heart. It could be somebody you love. It could be somebody you lost. But ultimately, this card says, before you react, think. And before you think that this retrograde is all bad, think. Retrograde is like the bully at school that needs to be put in timeout and given a little bit of attention. Think about it. Retrograde is seeking your attention. And for those of you, again, that have had an easy retrograde, which is great, I thank you, I applaud you. Send up some love, light, and prayers for us, please. You're not being picked on so much. But you know what you could do? You could come to the aid of those being bullied by retrograde. And I understand bullying is such a big topic right now. And even my own son, has been bullied recently by a kid at school. And we're going through a lot with that. But I think it's an absolutely perfect metaphor because it's not always the bully's fault. Like the actual bullier. A lot of times it's the circumstances. It's the environment. It's the way people react to the bully or don't react to the bully. Take it in a child's perspective, for example, because I brought it up, so we're going to talk about it. Someone that is a bully, that's acting as a bully, if they're constantly told, I want to be your friend because you're mean and you're bullying me and all that, and the only thing that the child bully hears is, I don't want to be your friend. That's all the child bully hears. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I did go to school for childhood education and development, my college degree. But children, selective hearing, they only get so much in. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't say that, but I'm using that as an example because that's what my son says to the bully at school all the time. I can't be your friend, fill in the blank, because you do bad things, because you're not a good friend. I mean, he's right. My son is he's 5, or almost 5, but he's right. And I don't want him to be friends with people that are mean, and I don't want him to be friends with a bully, and I don't want him to become a bully. But at the same time, I can't fix this bully. I can only assist and support my child who is being bullied. So back to the context of retrograde. Retrograde is shoving you in a locker. Retrograde is putting ice cubes down your back or flipping your food tray over at the lunch table. What is retrograde really trying to tell you? All right, guys, let's move into our oracle card pulls. We're going to pull a card for each of the elements. So if you don't know your horoscope sign, just Google it. I'm an Aries sign, so I'm a fire sign, so I would listen to the fire oracle scope. Same thing, you know, for water and all that stuff as well. So let's go ahead and pull some cards. We are going to, we'll just do them one at a time, I think. So we'll start with fire. Excuse me, because I'm fire. And I want to go first. Okay. First up, charity. I'm pulling my own hair. Anybody have that problem? You got long hair, you pull it all the time. Charity. So the card is green and the card pull is charity. So if you are a fire sign, charity, it says the voluntary giving of help to those in need, kindness and tolerance in judging others, love for humankind. So don't get it twisted. You don't have to go and donate a bunch of money, and you don't really even have to go donate a bunch of time. What's being asked here, sweet fire signs, and I know a lot of us are being affected by this retrograde because of how I don't do math in public, and I feel like astrology is a lot of math. It probably isn't, but it's just, I chalk it up to being confusing. So big shout out to all my astrologers out there, and numerologists, because that is straight up numbers. So our fire signs who are being definitely affected by this retrograde, give. Like I'm here right now. Guys, this is a free reading. Granted, love donations are accepted. I will post the PayPal me link on here or on my Instagram. But I'm doing this not just for my tribe, for my 3L tribe members of the tribelife.com. I'm doing this for anybody that wants to listen and watch. So I'm already doing what my card is, and I did literally just pulled this. So check the box. Go me. So what can you give? And again, it doesn't have to be monetary value. It can be time. It can be appreciation. You can choose to give a worthy letter, email, note, even just conversation to somebody in your life that needs it. It's amazing what we do when we show up for others and we say, hey, I admire the work that you're doing. Thanks for being such a hard worker. You know, even your coworkers, like, gosh, yeah, our boss is a jerk. But you know what? The job, the day in, day out, the 9 to 5 is better because you are my coworker. Guys, we have to stop being so weird about giving people compliments. Like, we need them. It's like water. Okay? How about that? Challenge accepted. You're supposed to drink, like, what, 8 glasses of water a day? I challenge you today, and this goes for everybody because everybody could use this. I challenge you to go give a compliment or a sign of expression and love to 8 different people. Do it. Okay. Water signs. Perseverance. Also a green card. Well, teal card. So doing something despite delay in achieving success, steadfastness, continuance in the state of grace to the end, leading to eternal salvation. Continued effort despite opposition. I mean, it's a pretty retrograde card. Look, sweet water signs, whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're feeling or trying to get out of feeling, don't stop. You don't have to put things on hold to the 15th. You don't. That's the bottom line. You need to continue. And not tomorrow. You need to continue right now. All right, earth signs. Legacy. I do love this. LovelineLegacy.com. All right, legacy. It says anything handed down from the past as from an ancestor or predecessor. A gift of prosperity, especially personal property, as money by will. A tradition that exists as a result of the past. This retrograde, this is a good one. This retrograde, start something. Start a legacy. Start a meditation. Every retrograde, you're going to do this meditation. Every retrograde, you're going to carry this crystal religiously. Every retrograde, you're going to light these candles. Every retrograde, you're going to book a session with one of your favorite, service providers, be it. And no, I'm not talking like Comcast and Xfinity Internet and all these things. No, I'm talking about like your favorite astrologer. Or maybe you've never seen an astrologer. Go book a session. Maybe you've never had an angel card reading. Go book an angel card reading. Guys, guidance can become a legacy. It can be, especially if you pull your own cards, it is nice to be read for sometimes. It's like cooking, right? Yeah, we can get much achievement. We can have such a satisfaction of cooking our own food and eating it. But you know what? It sometimes does taste better when someone else cooks the food for us. So sometimes it is better when the messages are delivered for us. That is not a shameless plug-in for myself. Yes, I do provide one-on-one services to my tribe members. So you have to become a tribe member in order to start booking one-on-one sessions with me. Something I instituted at the very beginning of this year. But I do know a ton of people. So if you are either you want me or you want another reader or you're curious who I might recommend, feel free to hit me up. I will always shout out people that I think are worthy of that. And I do know quite a few people. So love and support each other. Create a legacy for yourself. Create a tradition for yourself. And this is something that you don't just have to do during retrograde. You could do this anytime you're feeling stuck, lonely, any type of upset or pain. You can start to do this. This has now become your kind of survival kit, if you will. All right, last one, air signs. Mantra. So mantra, a word or sound repeated to aid in concentration or meditation. A hymn chanted or sung as an incantation or prayer. A mystical formula of invocation or manifestation or meditation. Mantra, so air signs. And I love this because remember, we started with the air sign. Remember, we had the 5 of feathers. Connects to the element of air. We ended with the King of Feathers, also air. What goes on here is going to be felt down here. What is felt down here is going to be repeated up here. What here and here do is going to come out of here. Air signs, you need to reinforce what you want. Not necessarily what you feel, unless what you feel is what you want. Guys, it has been my absolute pleasure to be able to do this reading for you. I was going to do a 30-minute session. We are pushing an hour. My bad. Hashtag sorry, but not sorry. It's free, so it's okay. If you would like to give a love donation, please go to paypal.me/love-light-and legacy. And the suggested love donation is just $5. You can give what you want. You don't have to give it all. You gave it your attention. Maybe give me a thumbs up. I don't know. I'm not really trying to bring back my YouTube channel. This was just the easiest way to give you guys the message. Thank you so much